and welcome back to Toku. I forgot the intro, but we're going with it. Uh,
I mean, I don't think there is a set intro. You could have just you could have just bullshitted one out.
yeah, exact. I know, but hey, it's all natural here. We do natural shit.
Yeah, this is natural, okay? This is that real shit, all right? The
That
other
good.
other review shows, they might actually plan what they're gonna say in advance and have a sense of professionalism. Not here. This is au naturel, the pure genuine.
Yep. And today we're continuing the series from last week, where we are going to be fucking talking about number one Sentai GoZyuger.
Man, what's going on?
We
I
got
don't know how
almost.
I feel about this.
I will say one thing before we start.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of dig the theme tune to this
I
episode.
That's the most pissed I am. I really hope you see what I'm afraid of is once whatever's going on right now is fixed, instead of putting the old song back, they're just gonna replace the parts of this song that say Goju Polar with Gojugers, and that is not what I want. Because the old theme song is so much better.
I imagine it was just a one episode, maybe 2 or 3 episode thing,
It's just
and
they
that
put
they'll
in so much effort into the new like cinematics that's why I'm scared. It's like maybe this is the new intro, but the parts that are Goju Polar centric are going to be changed a little bit,
yeah. It
which
might be.
which
It's
would be breaking new ground for Sentai. So maybe probably not because I'm pretty sure Sentai has like never done a mid-season theme song change like ever.
I do not think so, no. And this is quite early on in the season, with 16 episodes in, which I
Yeah,
guess is like,
it's not even halfway. So yeah, very interesting. I'm very intrigued and I'm very confused. And when I get confused, I get a little mad. So this episode made me a little mad.
yeah. I mean, at first, I honestly thought that the person who sent me the episode, because there was a thing where with the site that we watch it on, uh,
Yeah, I had to have
we
a
had,
buddy of mine track it down elsewhere because the website we were using just would not play the episode.
yeah. And at first, I thought he sent me the wrong episode because it obviously it was the whole end of the world thing in episode 15, so it kind of reset. And the start of this episode kind of played out a bit like at the start of the first episode with um Haru, Haru fucking I hate his name. Working in that place, and he had a corn dog in the first time, but this time he has a popsicle because polar, cold.
Makes
Uh,
sense. Yeah, there are a lot of parallels with episode one here, and that was very intentional because I don't know if you noticed this particular detail, but the name of this episode is "The True Number One Savior." Do you remember what the name of episode one was?
wasn't it something like the number one
It
savior?
was the number one savior. So episode one is the number one savior, and episode 16 is the true number one savior. So the parallels are very intentional.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, it's definitely meant to be noticed. But I thought I was just watching the same episode until I realized that he was holding an icicle, like an ice lolly or whatever,
Yeah,
instead of
popsicle, a ice lolly, whatever you want to call it, a pop knocker, Schlegeldorf, whatever you guys call it over there.
a Skroja Kusum. That's what we call it. A Skroja Kusum.
That's like one of my favorite favorite meme is somebody posted I don't know if there is actually a different name for these in the UK, but it's obviously not what the meme said. But it was a picture of donut holes. I don't know if you're aware of what a donut hole is, if that's the same term there.
I know that a donut hole is literally donut, but it's not the same shape. It's
It's just like a
what you
tiny little ball. It's a
yes.
donut hole. And the the meme, it's just like it's a picture of those, and it says, "What do you call these?" And then there's a reply to it that says, "I can't wait to see all the British people come in here and say, I can't believe Americans call them donut holes and not snogglecock popple tarts," or like something stupid like that.
In the UK called donut holes. Because if there is a name for them here, okay. Most of us do say donut holes, but there is actually another word which I
Ooh,
didn't even know.
what's the word?
Oh, no, it's a brand.
Oh, okay.
Timbits.
Ah, I've heard of Timbits before. That is a phrase I have heard. I didn't know they were donut holes though.
There might not be. I'm just looking at the AI overview, and as we know,
Yeah,
that is
take it with a grain of salt.
yeah. In Britain, we call them Admiral Nelson squashy cannonballs. What? Okay, that's Facebook. Yeah, no, that's not real.
It's really funny. But uh, let me tell you something, okay? I didn't think that it was possible for me to hate a GoZyuger more than I hate Ryuji. I was wrong. I was wrong. I do not like Goju Polar. That guy sucks, actually.
He's just the biggest dick. And I thought we'd get another Ranger versus Ranger fight with him and um Haru, but we really didn't. They just
Yeah.
ripped off Marvelous catches a punch thing, and that was it.
Well, I mean, okay, I didn't know that Marvelous did that, but even that, I'm sure Marvelous isn't the only Sentai person to ever do that either. I'm sure that happened before Gokaiger too. It's a pretty common trope. But I did really like that because it kind of it's one of those like subtle windows into how far Hoaru has come as a warrior. That we see this like badass fucking Goju Polar guy slicing his way through monsters and shit, and then he tries to fucking get one over on Hoaru, and Hoaru's just like casually, nah, brother. You thought. You thought. So Goju Pol, and it's weird because there's a couple things where I'm like, is he just pretending to be an asshole? It's very confusing because he restores Hoeru's memories, which is very important to the fate of the world at this point.
Yeah,
Um, so he does that, and that's a good thing. Off screen, he assumedly restores the other Gojuger's memories, and he has that kind of like sweet moment with the Prince of Destruction, who's Tega, whatever name I forget,
yeah.
but is
And that
now
is
named Good Burn Good,
good.
one of those
Good.
two. Good Burn, Good Burn. Okay, Good Burn, and that was kind of like a well. Even then, he declares himself as his god, so even that's a veiled in dickishness. So I can't get a read on this guy, but the read I am getting is that I don't like him.
Yeah, me either. Also, he
I
does a whole.
I kind of feel bad for Ryuji. Like this episode made me feel a little bit for Ryuji because his life seems so much happier in the alternative world. He's got a he's got a girlfriend who he likes, and they're having some fun together. I think he's singing. Isn't he singing the same song he made up about Tegasword, but with new lyrics to reflect this girl? Like I think it's the same tune, isn't it?
Maybe.
Which if it is, good call, good touch. I'm pretty sure it was. And he just seemed like he was having a good old time. The other three, I imagine, would prefer their old lives. But it seems like Ryuji was happier, and I kind of I saw him come back without any memory of what had just happened, and I was like, oh man.
And Sumino was just like, "Yay, I like nature."
Which is
She was
nice, but like that's not
on
Sumino. Like if you gave Sumino the choice, she'd probably choose her old life. Whereas I don't know if Ryuji would make that choice as fast.
No, maybe not. Well, I think he might, knowing that if he didn't, he wouldn't be a GoZyuger anymore, and the world is at stake. But other than that,
But he would feel bad about it. Whereas like maybe Sumino is happy in her own way in her new nature loving self, but it's not happier enough that she would hesitate. Whereas I feel like Ryuji would.
yeah, like I do agree that she would definitely hesitate a lot more than he would.
Wait, I
No,
was saying the opposite of that.
wrong way around.
Yeah.
My brain fucked over. He'd hesitate a lot more.
Bakuo or whatever his name is, I've already fucked up. Is it Bakuo? It's something similar to that.
It definitely starts with a B. Let me Goju Polar.
No, not him. Does he
Oh,
start with a B too? I was talking
oh
about
no,
Goju
I'm,
Leon.
uh, that's an M. That's Mashiro from Kumade. Goju Leon. It's Rikuo. Oh,
Rikuo.
yeah,
Okay,
but
yeah,
his surname
Rikuo.
is Byaku. Byakua is his surname.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. Wait, which one is his first? Rikuo?
Yeah, Rikuo is his first name.
Yeah, okay.
But
So
sometimes
Rikuo.
that thing where they say the last names first.
Yeah, I kind of I think I mashed the two names together due to that confusion. But Rikuo definitely would not hesitate even a little, because man, he's having it rough.
Yeah, like
In the old
he's also
world, he's like a mega celebrity, rich guy who women fawn over, and now he's in like college taking like 8 finals at once, freaking the fuck out because people are making noise while he's trying to study.
And did you see what his good luck charm was?
Actually, not really. What was it?
I need to remind myself of what it's called, but I remember seeing it in a um in a Japanese movie about games, but it kind of looks like this red tennis ball thing with a face on it. Uh, Japanese red ball with face. Uh, a Daruma doll or
Oh,
a Daruma.
interesting.
Yeah, he has
Isn't
one of
that what
those.
I think that's what the Pokemon Darumaka is based on, if I am not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I am pretty sure looking at them and then thinking about Darumaka. Daruma, the horror movie. Yeah, it looked a lot like the ones from As the Gods Will.
Interesting. And also Kinjiro wouldn't hesitate at all because he's in his personal hell, actually.
Yeah, he's just stuck as an adult.
He's
Well,
stuck as an old man, and he's stuck with like a caregiver who is baby talking him, something he very violently reminded us that he hated, I think, 1 episode ago. So Kinjiro's in his personal hell right now. So I'm glad they saved him. Even if Golju Polar like didn't want to restore all the Go-Jugers, my immediate reaction would be at least Kinjiro, because like, come on.
yeah,
But
I
but
mean,
they do all come back, and they all. What's weird is a detail which I don't know if they thought much about or if it's going to be significant later. Hoeru remembers who he was in the fake world. The other four don't seem to,
oh, that's a good point. I did,
because they show up and he's like, "You guys are back to normal," and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I guess maybe it was a wording thing because he didn't say something like, "Oh, you have your memories back." It's like, "Oh, you're back to normal." But
Well, no, I think they would know what that meant if they did remember that they were different people 10 minutes ago.
true, it
So
might
that's
come up. But
interesting. Maybe it. Wait a minute. Conspiracy theory. Tie on the tinfoil hat, boys. Maybe that's not them. Maybe they're fake.
That would be a good twist.
Yeah. Calling it right now. That's my big conspiracy theory, everybody. If I'm right, you all have to like, comment, and subscribe. Toku Thrill
Yeah,
has to become the biggest Toku review channel if I'm right about this.
it has to. By order of law, you have to like every single video that we've posted, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that everyone you know does the same.
Correct. That's the only. Even if I'm not right, you should do that anyway, but especially if I'm right.
Absolutely.
What else happened this episode? It's like
Uh,
I hate Goju Polar, so he's like trying to bill everybody, which
oh
it
yeah.
seems like there is a deeper significance to that, which, because it was a subtle thing. I don't know if you caught this, but they gave us a little subtle tease, where they ask Goju Polar about what his wish is, and the bear starts to say something about pay, and then Goju Polar stops him and says, "No, no, no, shut up. You don't need to know what my wish is. Fuck off." Or
I
no, his
think
wish
he
is to become a god or
yeah,
whatever. But it sounds like
he
that the
tells
bear
them
is about to say that his dream is to be able to pay someone for something that is significant to him. So that's my theory. That's what I feel like they're trying to tease, and is the reason why he's trying to bill everybody absurd amounts of money whenever he does good.
yeah.
I guess I am intrigued about this guy as much as because I'm like, where did this guy come from? Because like now he's part of like the intrinsic backstory of the show, as we learn. He apparently, there was a ring battle before this, which led to the war, that led to all the Megazords being destroyed, as we saw in the first episode. And Tegasword teamed up with the winner of the ring battle, who was Goju Polar, Goju Wolf at the time, and stopped the war. And it's like, okay, interesting, but where did he come from? Who were the other combatants in this first ring battle? I would really like to know this information.
Same. One other thing that I'm kind of caught up on was what the hell was with Goju Polar and boxing? I didn't know that we had KSI up in here.
I'm in the thick of it. Everybody knows.
You know me, Awareness.
I'm a king. Where's my crown?
From the screen to the ring to the pen to the king. But seriously though, like, um, in his mecha fight, he was literally just a pro boxer.
I
Oh,
mean,
that was
I think it's a fun angle. I like boxing Power Rangers. It's kind of a rare thing, and I do kind of appreciate it because like most Power Ranger weapons are swords or guns, and every once in a while, instead, they're like, what if it's like a brass knuckle and they just punch good? And I like that.
and thinking about polar, like Goju Polar and Polar Bear Rangers now makes me realize that we made a mistake in our last GoZyuger video where we said,
There was not another polar bear ranger. You're not about to tell me there's another polar bear ranger, are you?
yeah, there is. Are we forgetting one Kataro, big
Yes.
star,
Who's Katara?
Koguma Sky Blue? He's one of the many extra rangers in um a Chu Sentai Q Ranger.
Oh, Q Ranger.
He's
Okay.
a, he's a little kid and he's got a polar bear.
I am aggressively unfamiliar with that Sentai.
Koguma Sky. I'm gonna send you a picture of him.
We did also make another fuck up, but just to be clear, it was not my fuck up. It was because I believed Crow Royalty without doing fact checking. Because he told me that Goju Polar had the weird triangle ring. He doesn't. It's just a regular Gojuju ring.
Yeah, there's a regular ring. Although, important note, it is blue on the outside, which I thought was just a design choice. But when he picks up he shows that he has the the ninja ring that he took from um Haru at some point.
Why is
He
that name so hard for you? It's three
I don't know.
syllables. Hoeru. Hoeru.
He clenches his fist around the ring, and the red around it turns blue, which makes me think: is this going to be a thing where um the GoZyugers and Goju Polar are gonna face off against each other to see, like, he has the blue rings, they have the red rings, kind of like a Basco situation. I'm trying to collect them before he can get them.
Wait, I just had a crazy realization. Okay.
Okay.
So, audience, this is a spoiler for a potential plot leak for the new Power Rangers show, which we talked about on Megazord Radio a couple weeks ago. Um, but oh, I like that. That's a good suit. I'm looking at the other polar bear now. He's pretty cool. But
Kid.
uh, so it seems like so now the Gojujers are in this new world where everything's fucked up and different, and the code has been haphazardly changed, as Tegasor describes it. So I assume the plot of Gojuger, at least for a decent amount of time going forward, is going to be them going around finding weird anomalies and correcting them, which is also apparently the plot of the new Power Rangers show. So if
Also,
because that's a plot leak, and not all the people are going to know about it, Power Rangers is probably going to get falsely accused of ripping off Gojuger.
yes, they cross over into a massive movie where the Power Rangers meet the Sentai.
Bro. What a fucking ending that would be. We all
I would-
thought that Hasbro was just like, fuck you, Toei, we don't care. But in reality they were like, we want to go further. We want to go even further beyond.
Let's take our business relationship to the next level.
That's
Let's
probably
well,
not true, but now I want it to be true.
same. I
Can all
really
the
want to.
Go actors speak English? That's part of the research of this conspiracy theory.
The closest we ever got was during a unofficial official Sentai. Um, I forget the name. Akiba Ranger,
Keeper Ranger, yeah.
where they introduced the powerful Rangers, and it was just um the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin with American flags on their necks and belts. It's like, you think you can take your our American powerful Rangers and turn it into your Super Sentai Japan? Talk about lame.
It's pretty great. And they definitely are saying things that like the Power Rangers would say to monsters in 1990, which does make it funnier.
Exactly, like talk about lame. That is definitely a Ranger thing to say.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what else happened in this episode that is particularly important or notable? Well, I guess we kind of the result we talked around this, but we haven't particularly addressed it. The result of June's plan and its sort of quasi failure, where I guess she assumed that the amount of rings they had would be enough, but in reality it was not. They needed all the rings, and Tegasord just knows that, whereas June doesn't. And I'm not sure of why that would be, but that's where we're at. So instead of the world ending, it just got like reset and haphazardly recoded so that everything was different. And the Prince of Destruction was born, but he's like fucked in the head and has no direction in life. And then Goju Polar shows up and says, "Hey, let me be your god." And he's like, "Shit, all right,
Bet.
bet. Now I'm good to burn."
Wunderbarn.
Good to burn. Which is like I can tell. I think that's the moment where they're trying to redeem Goju Polar to you, and like it kind of worked on me a little, but I'm just like, yeah, but like still though, he's just a dick.
Yeah, I don't really like him. I love
I'm
his
sure, like,
suit.
we have plenty of episodes. I'm sure he comes around. I have a feeling he comes around. Like, whereas Ryuji, I think, is probably going to stay about the same throughout the story because he has this type of character trope that I don't think is necessarily seen as bad. It's just seen as comic relief. So I have a feeling Ryuji is going to remain pretty stagnant. We'll see if I'm wrong about that. But this very much seems like the beginning of a Ranger's arc, and he is going to slowly. So this is an Eric situation, essentially is what I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
it's a good comparison. I can't really think of the last time Sentai did something like that.
It
Like
probably was. It was probably Time Fire.
there's been villains becoming heroes, like with Stacy in Zenkaiger, but the last time that a ranger has been good, questionably, but not um, morally great, was maybe Time Fire.
Time of Fire.
Time Fire. I do love Time Fire's theme tune though. Time
Yeah,
Fire.
it's pretty sick. I want a fan to like make like a really cool, like English translated version of that. That somehow puts Quantum Ranger in the place of Time Fire, even though the syllables don't quite match up. So you'd have to be creative about it. But that would be pretty
Quantum
sick.
Ranger. Just like that.
Yeah, I guess I guess it is easy.
Quantum Ranger. There, easy. So what is there left to cover in this episode?
Hmm.
I guess maybe small points like how Goju Polar has that jacket thing that after he morphs he just whisks off. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I do like his jacket. I do like him keeping it on when he morphs, but then whisking it off. It is pretty sick. He's got aura. I'm not saying he
No.
doesn't have aura.
Oh, he's got aura. He's just a shit person.
Yeah.
It's like he walks into a club and oh, this is his club now. We're just
Yeah.
part of it.
Like all the bitches are gonna be all over him. He's gonna be the man of the hour, but you also know that he's a giant dick.
We're just privileged to be in his presence, even though he is an absolute dickhead.
Exactly. I'm sure he'll come around. I'm sure someday he'll meet a little girl who has some birds, and then the little girl will give him her birds, and then he'll be a good guy.
Thing. I don't know what you're referencing here.
I'm referencing Eric. You
Wait,
don't remember the little girl who gave him the birds?
that's how Eric turns around. I thought it was Trip.
Well, it's a gradual sequence of events. Like Trip is where the mask starts to slip, and then there's the little girl with the birds, and that's kind of what seals it. I can't believe you don't remember Eric and the little girl with the bird. Now it might have been a different animal. It might have not been birds, but it was definitely a little girl who had an animal of some sort who looked up to Eric and then gave Eric said animal, and that was a turning point for Eric.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been a long time since I've seen Time Force. Ironically,
You should rewatch Time Force. It's pretty good.
we will at some
I
point.
thought, yeah, I guess we will have to eventually, but that's gonna be a while. uh, wrap up questions now, or are there any other small things we could think of here? Oh, quick thing. I would have been completely unwilling to give Goju Polar any ground and completely unwilling to imagine that he would improve as a person if a certain part had gone how I thought it was about to go. Do you know what I'm referencing?
I'm trying to think of the sequence of events here. No, I can't think.
This show really scared me until the fucking final second into thinking that they were killing off Fire Candle and that Goju Polar was gonna fucking murk his ass.
I mean, he still might kill Fire Candle at some point.
He might kill Fire Candle at some point, but he did not kill Fire Candle today. And I was, I really thought he was about to, and I was about to be real pissed. It's like usually you would, because like, I think last time Fire Candle's robot got blown up, he left before the attack was even initiated. he like saw Hoaru about to do the attack, and he was like, "Well, shit, I better get out of here." And then he just let Fire Candle Robot get blown up. Fire Candle like gets hit by part of the attack. The robot is like fucked up and like about to explode, and he's like, "Okay, now I'm leaving." And it's like, "Oh, thank God! You should have done that a little bit earlier, buddy."
Yeah, like, you cut that escape a bit too fine.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we can move on to wrap up questions, and like, or I guess overall final thoughts, and then wrap up questions. I don't know. I guess it would be wrong to say I didn't like this episode because it kept me engaged. There's like cool action, but again, I got confused, which makes me angry inherently as a defense mechanism. So I have a lot of mixed emotions about this episode. How did you feel about it?
I like the episode, I just don't like the character behind the suit. That's how I would describe my feelings in in summary.
I also don't know
There's,
how I feel about the implication of the world changes. Like the number ones don't need human hosts anymore. The ring game is all like fucked up. Who knows who has what ring? Like it's just like I'm confused, and I
I
don't know
do
how they're gonna address it. And I hope that they address it in a way that's not bad.
I do hope it's addressed, definitely, but I will say that I am pro to the idea of not having the my people in the menu anymore. Simply, it gives more time for character stuff and cooler fights, as opposed from having to deal with, oh, this is the character that's the and that the monster's going to put in their body, and the rangers have to worry about taking that person out of the monster every fight. So that's just gone, which, it leaves more time, I think, which is always a good thing. It might help with pacing.
One thing that I hope comes out of this that I don't think will, I will be satisfied with that change if that means the not the end, but the scaling back of the number one battle gimmick. Because I don't think it's needed for every monster, you know? Like I get it, it's a cute novelty, but I don't like wasting half of every episode on, oh, can they be better at the monster that being polite? Can they be better than the monster at fucking juggling? Like I think we can ditch that somewhat.
Yeah,
But remains to be seen. Yeah, because I guess the whole point of the number one battle, not on Tega Sword's side, but on Tega June's side with the monsters, was to prove worthiness to pilot Tega June for the final execution of the plan, which has already happened now. So maybe that no longer exists as a motivation for the monsters. It's just go kill the GoZyugers.
maybe.
So I'll be interested to see how that works. Again, I don't hate that aspect, but like it happens every time and it gets kind of annoying. But yeah, I think we can do wrap up questions now. Nightster, who's your favorite character this episode?
Uh, Character. You know what? I'm going to give it to someone who I didn't expect I'd give it to in the entire show. Uh, I'm going to give it to Tagersword.
Okay.
I liked his interactions with Hoeru.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that. Tegasaur's just kind of like chilling with Hoeru. Like they're sitting there, Hoeru's eating a sandwich. He offers some of the sandwich to Tegasaur, and he's like, "No, I'm okay." Like they're just like hanging out, and I do like that.
Killing, I like it, so I'm giving it to him.
That's fair. I think I'm gonna give it to Hoeru, because he's still who he is, no matter what. Like even before Goju Polar restored his memories, he was ready to fight off the fucking knife guy who was trying to rob the convenience store. And he okay, so his super speed does not come from him being Goju Wolf. because like it seems like he's confused later when he has his ring, but he's not confused when he does super speed. So is that just an ability that Hoaru the man has, separate from being Goju Wolf?
He's goated. He wait, didn't he actually do that before he got the ring?
You know what? I think well no, because I think he had the I don't think we saw him get the ring. I think he had it from the moment we met him.
I swear we see him get the ring because he was in that cave, and that's when he met Tegasword. Like he pulled the
Man,
ring out of the hole.
it's been a long time since I saw episode 1 of GoZyuger.
I'm not sure if that happened before or after he used his super speed in the store on episode 1.
I think you might be right, but I think that was a flashback sequence.
Maybe.
Like we meet Hoaru, he has the ring, and then we flash back to how he got the ring. Regardless, though, it's weird that he has super speed.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, he took charge. His bravery is unwavered. Once he was a GoZyuger again, he's like, okay, I'm fixing the world now. I don't really care that you just fixed me, guy, because you are not with my goals, so you can fuck off. Because I'm here, I'm Goju Wolf, and I'm gonna save the world. And you know what? Fuck yeah! Shout out to Hoaru. I'm giving it to him. About favorite scene, Nightster.
I'm probably going to give it to the. I never thought I'd say this again, but I'm gonna give it. To the mecha fight.
That's fair. It was a pretty damn sick mecha fight.
I said it. I normally hate them, but it was so good.
It seems like I haven't seen modern Sentai beyond GoZyuger, so maybe this is a GoZyuger thing rather than a modern Sentai thing. But I feel like I've seen clips from modern Sentai that imply this has kind of been a thing for years. I think they kind of fixed mecha fights, because the problem with mecha fights before was that either A, they were clunky and slow, or B, they were complete CGI schlock fest that looked like garbage. They've kind of married the two now, where like obviously there is CGI being used, but there's also practical effects being used, and it blends in such a way that you're able to suspend your disbelief, and the fights are actually dynamic and fast and fun.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I guess you've been watching King Oger. Would you describe King Oger's mecha fights that way, or are they standard fare?
I've stopped watching it because I forgot what episode I was on, but from what I can remember, they're pretty good mecha fights in King Oja. I really enjoy
Yeah.
those.
So it seems like they've kind of just fixed the mecha fights, which I'm glad they did that. And then Power Rangers stopped. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, great. They fixed the biggest issue in the Sentai footage, and then they just stopped giving, and then Power Rangers just stopped making Sentai adaptions. Good fucking job.
Yeah, hopefully the Zord fights in Power Rangers Disney Plus take some notes from modern Sentai and don't suck like they have before. But that remains to be seen. Now, Nightster, how would you rate this episode out of 10?
A lot of really cool shit happened, and it opened the door for a lot of story beats. But I really don't like Goji Polar. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
That's like the exact score I had in my head. So
Yeah.
there you go, folks. 7.5 out of 10 for this episode of GoZyuger. I think a lot of potential has been put in place that can either shoot this show into the stratosphere or plummet it into the ground, and we'll see which direction that it goes.
Yeah. Pretty much it.
I just really hope, like, part of me is I know I said I was concerned about the theme song only slightly changing. Part of me is concerned it's not going to change at all. Is Goju Polar the main character now? I think that's possible.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, I really hope not, but I think it's possible and it scares me. So that's the direction I'm imagining that would plummet the show into the fucking molten core of the planet. So hopefully he gets sidelined at some point. I hope he is a non-present Six Ranger, which unfortunately is not a thing anymore. So probably not. It seems like for the past 15 years or so, Sentai's been pretty consistent in the Six Rangers are just there all the time. Whereas before there was kind of a mystique to the Sixth Ranger. So I hope they give Goju Polar some mystique, mostly because I don't want to see him every episode.
Yeah. Although, one thing did just come to my mind that we haven't actually mentioned.
Okay.
There was someone who was surprisingly absent from this episode completely, and there was no mention of him at all.
Absent
We
from
don't,
this episode completely. No
we don't
mention at
see him.
all.
We don't hear about him. He's just gone.
Character that was there before that was not in this episode. They tricked me because I didn't notice.
I'm surprised you didn't notice. He was uh, quite an important character.
Yep, I'm probably gonna feel like a fucking idiot once you tell me, but please just tell me.
I need to remind myself of his name actually because I forgot. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's an image of him. Fucking Gary Udo.
Oh, he's in this episode.
Where was Kuon? I didn't see him.
He's not in there long, but he's in there. In fact,
When?
they imply he saved whoever's ring. Take a Sword says somebody must have protected your ring, and then it cuts to Kuon. And he's like, "Oh, it's really unfortunate that Oeru still has his ring, isn't it, guys?"
Gonna be real. I thought that was Goju Polar.
Nope, that was Kuon.
I messed up with my
Now
mind
you're
though.
the idiot. You thought you were gonna make me into the idiot, and now it's you
Now
actually.
I'm the idiot. I'll tell you why. It's because um my main screen, like my laptop, I was doing something else on it at the time, so I was watching the episode on my tablet, and my gaze was flicking up and down. So I must have
You're not
been.
allowed to do that when you're watching a show that's not in English, buddy. If it's in English, you could do that, but if it's not, you gotta be looking. Because if it's in
Like,
English, then you could hear the characters that are there. But if not, you got to be watching.
took one glance down, and I was like, okay, read that, and then back to what I was doing. Yep. But I fucked up, basically.
Well, you're sentenced to life in prison. I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. No more Toku Thrill. No
No
more
more Toku
Megazord.
Thrill. It's over. It's all over. It's all ogre now.
I won't be
Megazord
on for more.
Radio will continue. I'll find a new co-host. There's already precedent for that, but
And I guess
we're,
Toku Thrill can kind of continue, but
I don't have the login, so no, it can't.
I, you can just remake it.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just invent a new channel.
Yeah.
But regardless, everybody, thanks for watching Tokyo Thrill today. I guess we'll do some plugs real quick.
Yeah. I
Nightster.
reckon our listeners. I was gonna ask you because I was the intro, but alright.
I mean, I guess I'll go then. linktr.ee/Riley Cinematic Universe. That's RIELY Cinematic Universe for all of your Riley podcast needs and Riley other things needs. Just a whole lot of Riley.
Yep. So much Riley that you will never get bored.
And I also just want to say for the record, Nightster, that I'm fairly sure every video that you've done the intro in Toku Thrill, I've done the outro, which is where the confusion lies. Because I'm just better at finding the natural point to do that, I feel like.
Yeah, true. I never know when to transition into the outro.
Yeah, which is why I usually take the baton from you. But today you noticed it a little more and you were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Give me my baton back.
Shit. Fuck! I just heard a knock for food. Okay.
Well, where can they
I
find
will
you,
have
Nightster? We're almost done.
yeah, I will blaze through this. You can find me in my solo channel Nightster, or you can find me right here on Toby Thrill. But also,
Yay!
I am co-hosting Megazord Radio with Riley, so go find that channel, and you can
Yep,
find
you
me.
got GoZyuger every week here, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers every week over there.
So come listen to us every week on there too. And
Until next time, folks, let's make this showy.
I didn't exist.